everybody, John Osborne here. Let's do the FX Education Outlook for July 31st, 2017, the last day of July. We'll start out by looking at the Euro Pound. You can see we are breaking above the previous swing here. We actually broke above the previous pivots that we had, and we closed on a bar above that previous swing high from right here. So let's see if this will continue to move higher. We're looking neutral to bullish here on our MACD and rather neutral on our daily, but we're still looking bullish with some pretty good strength on our weekly. For the Aussie Yen, you can see we are pulling back a little bit, and we actually have this trend line now that we've gone back down to touch. If this continues to break through this line, we could see a reversal in trend and a move lower. Let's see if that will do that. If it went straight down or so, it would be around 0.87906, but it might take a few bars before that happens. But let's go ahead and watch it. And notice we did hit our target on this one, so it's not surprising that we're reversing after hitting target. For the pound US dollar, we are heading higher, and we continue to move higher with some pretty good strength on across the board here, and we are moving up towards that previous 1.34439 resistance. For the Euro US dollar, it's also moving higher, and we still have some pretty good bullishness across the board. And you can see with the US dollar, as far as the euro, we can see that we've got quite a ways to go before the next target. We've broken through this previous pivot here just in the last little bit here, just in the last session, and we've broken through the 200 bar moving average, so our next resistance won't be until up to 1.25691, and that's a long way. So maybe we can find a different resistance point in the daily, but we can have that target in mind. For the Aussie US dollar, we are struggling to get above this previous swing high here. That's at 0.80069, and we still have this other resistance line, which has been beaten up a little, but it's still there, and I'd like to see us move higher. Probably want to wait until we get above this previous swing here before we consider a re-entry after the target that we hit there. Now in the bearish markets, we're seeing a little bit more bullishness than we'd expect. You can see the bullishness rising here on the daily chart, going up to retest this line. For the dollar loonie, you can see we've come down and broke through this support, which was at target, and now we're looking for another potential re-entry by a break of this support trend line through in this consolidation that we have here. So we might be able to see an entry point of somewhere around 1.242 in that area when it breaks through this line. Okay. It has already broken through this previous swing low and through the 200 bar moving average, and we're looking quite bearish on our weekly, though we seem to have lost some of our downward momentum on the daily. For the pound loonie, you can see we also pulled back, and we'll see if we break above this previous swing low here, which is at 1.65145. And the pound yen, you can see we're consolidating, following down a little bit lower here. We are trending lower, but now we're starting to put in a higher high here, which means that we're really doing in a consolidation. It's not so surprising. If you look at our weekly, we're still in that pennant there. And for the US dollar yen, I saw this trend line that we have here. There's a couple of them. One is on this from here to this pivot, another one from here to this pivot. So we've kind of got a double trend line that we can follow here. The safer bet is to wait for the lower one, of course, but this one is right where we are right now, so we could be watching for a break on bearishness on our 240 and our daily, and we're starting to look probably new. I think we're still neutral here on our weekly. So we did break through that 110.617, and that's giving us a little bit of a bearish stance, so we'll see how that goes. And for the Kiwi Yen, we're still consolidating. We went up and broke through and hit our target, which was great, but then we've pulled back to the previous pivot that we had back here and all this congestion. So let's see what happens. It's still trying to figure out what it wants to do. We do have this beautiful 240 trend line along the bottoms here that we closed on in this bar, but we did penetrate it, so it could be a reversal for us to go lower if it does continue through this line. But let's see what happens, and that'll do it for today. Remember, you can subscribe by clicking on my image in the upper right, or you can look at some previous videos that I posted by clicking on the image in the upper left. And until next time, have a great rest of your day.